Hello and big welcome to Kazy Lambist.
Hello.
Hello. Originally from France and currently also successfully touring Europe. Also the first time here in Berlin.
Yeah.
And yeah, so really, let's go back to the very early beginnings. But before we do that, did you really want to also become an airline pilot back then?
Oh yeah, I wanted to be an airline pilot for years.
Okay.
Until I was in high school and I chose another direction. I was skipping some courses at school and math was not like the best course for me. So then musician was more an option.
Was there then a turning point when this, turned more serious into a serious thing?
The turning point was way later. I was doing my music in my bedroom, and I didn't even want to talk to like my best friend about it. It was like, so I was kind of ashamed of it. It was personal, but with some other friends I shared it. And then like 3 years later, I was 18. Friends told me you have to send your music to Radio Nova. It's a radio in France that we listen to. And I called and I said, hey,
You literally called?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
And
wow.
I said, my friends told me that my music could be on your radio. How could I? Is it possible?
Yeah.
And they told me, you can write to this guy. Here's the mail, but it doesn't work this way. So good luck. But it's not.
So
I tried, and actually, 1 week later, they told me, okay, we like it. We put it on air. So that was, and then I realized like, wow, my music can be on the radio. It's possible because I thought what I was doing was not like nothing to do with the level of everybody playing like making songs on the radio. So that was a kind of a turning point.
Then.
Maybe 19.
19.
I don't know. Yeah.
So you went to a radio station first and did not put your stuff on like SoundCloud.
Oh yeah, it was on SoundCloud, but it was like just for friends because I'm really bad with social medias. So I wasn't posting anything, and it was just friends. And yeah, of course, my friends shared it with friends, and so it started to spread. But it's kind of slow if you let it this way. And sometimes
what happened then with the radio? What happened then? They played it then?
Yeah, they started to play it like every week. And
what was the song they played the first?
Heads On.
Heads On. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Heads On. And so yeah, we did a video clip, and I did a video clip, but with no budget, just in holidays. Like during the holidays, I filmed my friends singing the song.
Okay.
And I put it on YouTube. And
so in the first video, you weren't there yourself, like.
Yeah, I was also singing in the video. Yeah.
But you were also filming yourself.
Yeah, I was. Using different cameras that I found, and so the clip is pretty bad, really cheap, but.
So you still like to produce the most out of your bedroom?
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'm comfortable to.
Yeah. Of course, then you're limited to invite people. You cannot invite 10 people at once. Then it will get cramped. But okay, that's very interesting. I mean, like, and nowadays, just exaggerating a bit, you can like produce music with just a laptop, right?
Yeah.
You don't need like huge.
Don't need anything.
Lots of equipment and so
Even
on.
some people do it with the iPad.
Yeah, no, but that's also inspiring, definitely also for our audience, because we have lots of also young people who are like on the verge of starting out, let's say 14-year-old, and they often are intimidated first. Okay, what should I do first, and what do I need to start? And then many people are like, do I need like lots of gear, and I don't have money, and but also I would have asked you this, is like, what would you give as an advice to a 14-year-old person who's like, yeah, I want to be in music and I want to start doing something? Or what would you tell yourself now, your 10-year younger self at this point, what you learned? Like,
if I was like 14 and I wanted to be a musician, yeah, I think you have to think about the whole thing, especially now. So, but I think the kids 14 years old, I think they know it now, but I didn't know it, and I think maybe not all of them know it, but it's more like generation.
Yeah.
It's more in this generation. I see they are really comfortable with social medias and stuff. So I think you have to think the whole thing. So the visual, the fact that you have to communicate about what you do, and if you are aware of all this, I think it should be good. If you like really clear about what you are giving to people.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing, but also, of course, you. Well, that's kind of stupid to say, but of course, you have to do something that you like and not do something that is working at the moment, because it's just gonna be. Yeah, I don't believe in this. I think even like big commercial artists, they try to like do something that they feel comfortable with, and to put heart in it. So you have to think of something that you will like at the end. That's maybe the most important, but it's a stupid thing to say, but it's important.
No, it's true. In the very, very core, it's true. When you really understand what it means, like when we listen to some of these sayings, they all sound so, common. But once you understand them, and what was then the hardest thing on your journey so far? What would you say was the hardest thing? I mean, like some people, like what was the hardest thing so far, in your journey? And is it social media, like communicating? Is it the hardest thing? Like
no,
Instagram.
It's okay.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I also did not grow up with Instagram. I'm still trying to learn it, and it's like sometimes confusing. Snapchat, I don't understand, but what is the hardest thing?
What's the hardest thing? Maybe also trying to, because when you start from being alone and just posting your stuff on the internet and you don't care, and when you start having like people around and also an audience that's maybe gonna be like criticize or maybe waiting for something, or medias that follow you that are waiting for something also, you have to not to think about it, and all that, like when you have people involved, you have to stay focused on what you want to do.
Okay, more people, more problems. Okay. Yeah, no, but it's true. Like it's when you're growing bigger. Yeah.
More people, more possibilities also.
Okay. So. Yeah, true. So you also enjoy working with other people.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like for your latest song, you had like one saxophone player, right?
And also more people, more fun. Yeah. Because if you stay alone, it's pretty boring.
Let's also then talk about your latest song. I mean, the message, we've seen the video, and it's very it's a upbeat and also happy song, but also I think there's a message definitely in there, because it is targeted at the Tinder generation, if we would call it like that, or what was the message of that song?
Yeah, I think you can there is place for interpretation, but it's about like the Tinder stuff, like the meet applications, and not the meet applications, but you got it.
Yeah, I understood. I think everyone knows.
And so it's about the fact that you consume, you go from one people to, and I have a lot of friends who are into this.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk about it because I think it's funny, and also it can be scary. That's why the end of the video is scary, and that's a part of herself that can be a little animal. Like that's why in the video also we compare it to insects. To mantis.
Yeah.
And so that was the subject. I wanted to do something about Tinder.
Okay.
That turns bad.
But the message is still make love all the time. And like I think I also read somewhere that you said, like, spreading love, and love is like, definitely something. And
that is a way to make it a bit sarcastic. That every day I want to make love, but when you, but and so it's the song I recorded with Joey Homicile, so a saxophonist from Canada, who's very talented, and I recorded many songs with him lately. But so that's the second one we put out, because the first one was in November with a singer called Pongo from Portugal, and on this track, on Tous les Jours, the other singer is Amwe, and Amwe is with me from the beginning when we started to do shows. We are three on stage. There is Amwe and Amaury. Amaury is on the bass and Amwe is singing, and so she's been in the story from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's the first song where you don't sing yourself and you are not in the video yourself, and it was like more you're the master producer and the master composer of everything. But yeah, No, very great stuff.
Also because sometimes people think I'm just a singer,
Yeah.
and I like to say, okay, but I also produce the song, so I'm not.
Yeah, we've done like one almost loop, but it's always interesting to go back to the beginning. I already asked you like how you were as a kid and so on. And is your family then? What about your family? Were there musicians before, or was it like is it somehow in the family, or were you the first to really do something with music?
No, they like music, but they are not into music. I mean, no, they are into music, but my dad is a researcher, and my mom is more into French teaching. And at the beginning, they was a bit scared, of course, that I was going into music, and now they support my music. Yeah,
Okay.
they are happy to come to see the concerts and.
Oh. Yeah. So how hard was it to convince your parents of like I'm doing this also now seriously? And
No, I think like my dad always liked music, and he was doing like artistic stuff on the side just for him. But I think he was happy that I was that I could show it to people, and that I could do this. Yeah, he was happy actually.
yeah.
No, it wasn't. They were just scared because, of course, like when you're parents, you know that your kid is not gonna make money if he
I don't
if
know.
he plays
like,
guitar all the time.
Yeah, that's like what prejudice is. But I don't know what job is more dangerous, a pilot or like a musician.
Yeah, a pilot usually you make more money.
Yeah, but it's also a very stressful job. Like it's not like a dream job like many think. It's like also can be boring.
It's different.
Even. And like.
But it's more stable job, I think.
Yeah. So would you say your life, like also what artists like normally the problem is always like stability also, and also making enough money to survive with the music. Would you say this is still very hard also nowadays, even though you have much more possibilities to?
It's not even about money. It's just the fact that you have to accept that you move all the time. And that's you don't know, but maybe they are going to call you like next week. You have an interview somewhere, or you have this to do, or maybe you will work at night on a project for a whole week, and you like it's you can't predict. You can't say, okay, I've done my work.
That would have been also a question. How important is discipline versus genius? Like, and are you a workaholic then? Do you work like, I don't know, how many hours do you work on a work? Like,
I never count. I never count. But no, I wouldn't say like I'm the hardest worker.
Okay.
I also like to chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I have to. Yeah, of course.
Because discipline is also somehow. Also, definitely genius is there, and then.
I'm not well organized, and I think that's not a good thing. But I try to sometimes to. I don't count my hours, and I just work on something until it's done.
So, what is also then your biggest fear? Like, if you have a fear, like perhaps back then or now, what is your biggest fear? Like
about the career?
No, not the career in general. It is like, I mean, it's always interesting to see, because I can tell you my fear. My fear is.
Okay, tell me.
My fear is like if I didn't do a thing and then regret it. That's like also a very common fear. That's also one fear I have, and I don't know. Like, is this also the same for you?
Well, it's like my fear. Maybe it's. I always feel like I'm. Like I don't do I don't do many things. I feel like I don't do anything, and I always feel like years pass and I'm too lazy to do anything, and I go and I don't know. How do you say that? I feel like I'm missing all the opportunities all the time. But that's the way it is, and that's a fear that I always have, and it's like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think I will always have it.
Yeah, like missing out like an opportunity is like.
Yeah.
And
I feel like I could do a lot of stuff all the time, and I don't do them.
Okay, yeah. Like that's like, I mean, we all have our ambitions, and like and that's why there's a nice saying also: try to reach, shoot for the stars and reach. I don't know. The moon, something like that. Like if you have very high goals and you even reach half of it, it's still like something very.
Yeah. But sometimes it's so bad that I want to give up. And because I feel like I'm doing so nothing that it doesn't even make sense that I do something. Well, anyway, that's the fear, but
what does your manager
it's okay. I'm not depressed.
What does your manager say? We have to do more, or like, I mean, your manager. What do you think your manager saw also, like in you, so to say, like when he decided, okay, this is a guy I want to work with. And,
at the time,
I mean, he's sitting in the back. But, I mean, I want to hear it from you. And what do you think? I mean, like,
do you mean when we started to work together?
What do you think? Like was like the beginning, like that he's looking like, oh shit.
Well, that's a tough question because he could answer. It's just right there.
But I want to hear from you. Let's hear what you think it is, and later you can hear from him. Like, I mean, it's like funny. It's funny to ask these questions.
Yeah, well, I think he thought that we could do something together. That he felt like we could work together, and that's many things. That's about what he saw of my work, and also because we could talk together, and so I think he thought that he could spend time on this project and feel comfortable with it, and I felt the same. So because it's not only about I don't know. I don't know. I read it's difficult to answer this question.
Let's later definitely ask him once the cameras are off. and so overall, your journey was a very interesting journey so far already, and you were always like, it seems, proactive in doing stuff and getting stuff and doing it, and then people noticed. So that's also perhaps how you also made your way through this also, I think, complicated industry, right? The music industry is not an easy industry, like you said. It's not like to make a living in it, and also finding perhaps a good manager is also something.
Well, that was
right, because
that was okay. I was lucky to meet the right person. This is important too. Maybe for an advice for the 14 years old guy is not to sign anything until he's sure of the people, because I have friends who got like really bad contracts and then they lost like 5 years of their time because you get engaged in a bad with people who actually don't care about your project, and maybe they have like some other artist on the same label, and they tell you, okay, we'll take care of your stuff later, but we are going to focus on the other one, and that can drive you crazy actually. So as long as you can be free, that's good, and free to post stuff on the internet, and to, especially now, you can make a lot of stuff without the industry, without the label, and without.
Yeah, but definitely you still need a team though to like.
At a certain point, when you start to have concerts, and otherwise it takes you too much energy to organize all by yourself, of course.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. Then like for the end, like if you would sum up, that's Kazy Lambist, like in 1 or 2 sentences, and then you can also say something to the audience, like, I don't know, like, what would you say is you, like in 1 or 2 sentences? Because I know what I am, and I always tell it, and people remember if you say,
Okay, so tell me what you are then, again.
Let's hear you first.
Okay. Well, I don't know, I'm... Maybe if you listen to my music, you're gonna find the love of your life, because we have so many couples at the concerts.
Okay.
I'm sure it's working some way.
Okay.
So that's a medication for you.
Oh, nice. Make love all the time. Okay.
And also make love all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, great. Thank you for being here. It was really nice having you here, and
thank you.
Hope to see you then also sometime again in Berlin, and all the best for your tour and everything.